and my role at England Athletics is head of talent programs. So, for those of you who've been involved in programs previously, you'll probably recognize my face, whether that be the youth talent program or subsequent programs. So, just a little bit of housekeeping as we go along. Any questions that come up, we'll answer at the end. And if you pop them into the chat function, I will be able to run through them one by one and answer at the conclusion of the presentation. I expect the presentation will last no longer than 30 minutes, and hopefully give you some context to information before people decide to apply for an England talent program this winter. So just to introduce some key staff, as I said, myself in the middle, Alan Richardson. I am head of talent programs for England Athletics. So my role is encompasses the management and day-to-day running of all of the England Athletics talent programs that will run through this evening. Sarah Benson on one side of your screen is England Athletics Director of Talent and Performance, so my direct line manager, and she's responsible for all England athletics teams, national competitions, and the talent pathway as well. And is the strategic lead for all of our talent and performance work. Phoebe White, who is on the opposite side of our screen, a number of you may know, and if you've been involved in a talent program previously, you'll be aware that a lot of the information comes out via Phoebe as well. So she's the mainstay in the central cog of making a lot of this work on a day-to-day basis alongside myself, and a lot of the communication comes out from Phoebe. So make sure you've got her email address saved and keep an eye out for that. We have leads across each one of our main event areas, and these are titled National Endurance Managers. We have on one side of your screen there, Matt Kendrick, who is our National Para Athletics Manager. So Matt leads all of our work for the Paralympic side of the sport, and as we'll talk about in a little while how that is included and inclusive within the talent pathway. Darren Ritchie is our jumps combined events lead, and he is also involved in age group teams across with UKA as well. So a number of you might have met him there. Shani Palmer is our speed lead and also heavily involved in various relay programs. Nick Ridgeon, if you're involved in throws, well, absolutely know Nick, involved as national event manager for the full throwing events. And then in endurance, we have two. Hayley Hemmings is on track endurance. So all events happen on the track, and Andy Hayes leads on all off-track endurance events. So what do we stand for before we get into the kind of the more specific information? England Athletics values, you can find these on our website, and the things that the talent pathway aims to adhere to as well. So we want everyone to be fun, excited about our sport, and we really want people to enjoy being part of the talent pathway. We want it to inspire people to have ambition to succeed. At this level, would be very much giving people the inspiration to succeed at national and international level, and very much in terms of talent development and performance. We want to be able to treat everybody fairly and have integrity, and that's really important when we talk about selections. The selection policy is up online and can be found on the England Athletics website as well, so everybody can see and look at that. And we want our program to be fully inclusive as well, which is why the talent programs are fully inclusive for all. So what is the philosophy? We have the same philosophy that flows throughout all of our talent programs and throughout the talent pathway. So in the first instance, it is to support athletes and their personal coaches. It's very much to add value to the athlete and coach plan, to allow them to develop a broad range of skills, but also behaviors to implement those skills as well. So it's not just about people understanding sports nutrition, for example, but it's very much about being able to apply that into your day-to-day behaviors, whether that be in training or competition. We want athletes to be empowered to make their own decisions, and be able to implement a lot of this themselves as well, rather than just having this information and support, but very much be able to put it into place on their day-to-day. We want athletes to transition through our programs. So if you are currently have just finished on youth talent program, we very much want a lot of those people to be able to transition to talent development. We want people to transition from talent development through to performance programs as well. And ultimately, we want people to achieve their potential. So the aim of these programs is very much to support people to achieve their aims and goals throughout the year and years. Objectives of the programs. So what we are really trying to achieve and the objectives of what we are aiming to do via these talent programs. We are looking to increase the number of athletes and para-athletes who achieve consideration standards for GB and Northern Ireland teams at their relevant age group championships. Now, this may be that an under 20 team, so it could be World Juniors, for example, or it could be European under 23s. It might be a senior team. So it is very much a relevant age group champs that the athlete is impacted by. And the really key thing there is not being selected, but achieving consideration standards as well, because there's so much more to being selected for a team. But we do want to see an impact of these programs to increase the number of people that achieve those standards. We would like to increase the number of athletes and para-athletes meeting performance and behaviour standards required to progress onto UK Futures programmes or world-class programmes. And that's really key. That's on the Olympic or Paralympic pathway. So again, it is about athletes transitioning from home country support with us at EA through to moving on to UKA programmes and in around world-class programmes. And we also want to retain more athletes and para-athletes within the talent pathway and the wider sport as well. So we know not every athlete will always progress through every program, and there will be some that don't move from YTP onto talent development. But we like people to have a brilliant experience and be retained within the sport and stay competing. So what does the program look like as a whole? So the pathway has a number of different programs in it. So the first selective programs are the Para Athletics Academy and the Youth Talent Program. For those who have been through YTP before, the DICE component is qualification that comes with the YTP as well. So if you haven't been through that process, that's what DICE means. And the Para Athletics Academy also sits at the same level as the first selective program. And that the Para Athletics Academy runs alongside both YTP and the Talent Development Program as well. So there are a number of athletes who will be supported through Para Athletics Academy, but will also be on YTP and Talent Development Program. YTP flows into talent development, and the idea is the skills and knowledge that people attain on the YTP automatically supports their ability to really implement that when they're on the talent development program. And then finally, for those athletes that don't move directly up onto world-class program at this stage, we have a performance program sitting at the top of our programs as well. And the aim for that program really is to support people to then future to move into world-class program and make Great Britain teams at senior level. So when we look at the para support that we offer. This really is Matt Kendrick's piece of work. And for those of you who know Matt, and if you're a para athlete that's interested in this area and would like a bit more detail, do reach out to Matt Kendrick, and his details can be found on the England Athletics website. The Para Athletics Academy is the first selective program for para athletes. There are a number of athletes in that program who are younger than what are able to be on the youth talent program. So as we'll see in a moment, the YTP has an age range which people need to be within. Matt's Para Athletics Academy also selects athletes who are younger than that but still meet the performance standards. And then that Para Athletics Academy, as you can see up the left hand side, runs throughout and is intertwined with the YTP, the Talent Development Program, and the Performance Program. So athletes who are selected on any of those programs also sit within the Para Athletics Academy and come together and work with athletes who may or may not be on one of those wider EA programs as well. So there's a real community around the academy. So looking at the programs, we have 3 programs. YTP, as we said, is the first selective program. It's predominantly an under 18 program, and it really sits for those who are um, doing A levels, those A level years. So we select at the end of GCSEs, and there's 210 places per year on that program. We always have two running at any one time. So the really key bits to note here for those who are looking at the later programs is the YTP is all about education. It's about introducing athletes to performance support services and building knowledge that they can then apply later on. It is camp based, so people come together on a regular basis throughout winter. The talent development program is for those in the under 20 and under 23 age groups. The selection document, the selection process will take into account people's year of birth. So please do look at that on the website as well. And we have somewhere between 70 and 90 athletes per year on this program. Athletes can stay on it for between 1 and 4 years. So it's a minimum 1 year. So we support athletes once selected throughout the full year. And it's a maximum of 4 years on the talent development program as well. And the idea is that athletes here go into their talent hub environment, really access service support, and then they take a little bit of ownership of making sure that support is implemented on a day-to-day basis. Then we move on to performance program, which is the final year of somebody's under 23 time, could be on performance program, and then it's predominantly around a small number of senior athletes who would be on this program. We have a maximum of 30 places, and again, we support every athlete for 1 year through to a maximum of 4 years on both talent development and performance programs. And this is really important to note. We select annually, so that if anybody is currently on a program, we would either reselect them or not retain them on the program for the 2026 to 2027 support year. But all athletes must reapply annually as well. And we'll come to that in a little while. And then really here as well, it's about being in the talent hub environment, accessing service support, and being able to really lead the support team that are offering them specialized services. And that's the philosophy of that program, or what we want to see from athletes working with us on that program. So what do we deliver and how do we deliver it? Every athlete will have a program point of contact. So it may be one of the national managers we talked about earlier. It may be a talent hub lead. It may be a talent event lead in a specific event. And that person will support the personal coach and the athlete through developing an individual athlete plan that can then kind of track, monitor, and identify the support required. All of these support services will be given through our Talent Hub system, and on occasion, some talent camps as well, and some of our event areas specifically get people together to train together and do some additional testing that's not available in the wider Talent Hub area, or where the numbers make sense for people to come together and do some training together as well and access some of those additional services. We work with athletes and their personal coaches to track progress, inform yearly planning, and that's all sits within that IAP that we talked a bit about earlier. It gives access to a delivery network, so we'll talk about TASS and what that is in a little while, but it gives access to everybody to move into that delivery network, supported by TASS as one of our key partners, but also across the various talent hubs that people can access those service supports in as well. And there is some athletes who are able to access competition support where it's possible and agreed within that IAP as well. So we did support a number of athletes to travel to Halle last year in the Throws events, for example, and some individual athletes to travel abroad and compete. But it very, very much needs to sit as part of the plan across a year and not be a reactive process to something that's going on, but it is very much part of that IAP and identified early as part of the plan. Where needed, we can support coaches, whether that be mentoring support or additional qualifications. So the personal coach gets a lot of support as well throughout the process. And one of the big things is very much as we've talked about talent hubs is that accessing of that performance environment, and on occasion training camps as well. We have supported each one of the talent hubs with additional support services to go on there, either warm weather or altitude camps as well, depending on the event area. So what are the talent hubs and where are they based? Talent hubs are a site where we support athletes with coaching, support services such as physiotherapy, nutrition, sports psychology, athlete lifestyle support as well. So we have 8 different sites where athletes can access this support. So Northumbria University up in the northeast, Leeds Beckett University, Manchester Metropolitan University, Loughborough, Birmingham, Exeter Uni down in the southwest, St Mary's University in Twickenham, so West London, and the University of East London. Now, Northumbria, Exeter, and the University of East London are predominantly TASS sites, so that's really about support services and where we term it as a satellite hub as opposed to one of our main hubs. At this current time, Leeds Beckett, Manchester Met, Loughborough University, University of Birmingham, and St Mary's are supported and in partnership with us to offer a wider network of support. So there's quite a significant amount of coaching in place in those areas as well. Now, what happens if I'm not based and be able to access services um, from one of those places? Can I get support if I'm based outside of England? Yes, you can, and you can apply for a program. We're able to offer facility access, some physiotherapy, and on occasion soft tissue support, S&C, nutrition, psych, and lifestyle. But they will only be available at England Athletics Talent Hubs. And what we'd also be looking for athletes to do as part of that IEP is still to complete that early in the year so that we know when people are returning to England to access support across the scope of the rest of the year as well. So it's not arrive back on June the 1st and say, I really want to get access to one of the sites on June the 2nd. It very much needs to be a well communicated plan with your point of contact. Now, we have 4 current key Talent Hub staff. At the moment across Leeds Beckett, Loughborough, Birmingham, and St Mary's, and these are key contacts as Talent Hub managers. Andy Drake, been the manager up at Leeds, Femi Akinsanya in Loughborough, Andy Paul in Birmingham, and Craig Winrow down at St Mary's, based in Twickenham. There will be a further person to come on and lead Manchester Met across the next period of time, which is a really exciting addition to the programme. So, what is TASS? TASS is the Talented Athlete Support Scheme, provides service support to athletes at the top of English talent pathway. So they support TASS delivery sites, TDS, and they're all based around universities. So what we do is support one of athletes to get their support services through one of those 8 sites we mentioned earlier as well. The services, all of those sites can offer are strength conditioning coaches on a regular basis, as well as facility physiotherapy on a regular basis, sports psych, personal development, so athlete lifestyle support and nutrition as well. Now, the 2 other big key bits for all athletes who are selected on either talent development program or performance program is access to a TASS medical scheme, which is private medical insurance, and that gives you fast treatment for scans, seeing a sports doc, for example, but also free mental health support as well, which once selected onto a program, an athlete will be told how to access all of this additional service as well. So what do we expect from athletes? Very much the fact that it's a 2-way relationship of support. Excuse me. So we are very much working in partnership with an athlete to give them the best support they can gain within this talent network. But also for us to be able to do that, we really need athletes to complete admin tasks required to have this support, completing forms, so we know where we can help as well. So the IAP is really important. So being able to complete that IAP at the start of the year and stay connected with a point of contact is really, really important. This shows a commitment to the support and being part of the program as well, rather than just trying to take medical insurance and tap into it when you need it, but also really been proactive with looking at what do I need, how can I utilize it, and where am I now within that, athletes must apply for a program. So please look on the England Athletics website, find the application, also read the selection document as well, so you know what the performance standard consideration standard you would be looking at to be considered for selection. So please look at that as well on the website. Other bits that we need people to do, and you need to read and sign the pathway agreement as well, which also then means that you are agreeing to behave in a manner that reflects the athletic pathway agreement across the year as well. Every athlete must go for anti-doping training, clean sport training. So it has to be done within 2 years. So if you've already done it in the last year, you'll be asked to do it kind of in the second year of that and not necessarily in 2026. That is offered out of every single talent hub in person. And is also, we offer an online version of that as well throughout the year specifically for talent pathway athletes. So it's right there for people to do. We just have to do it in the same way as athletes on the youth talent program do as well. And we also ask people to acknowledge the support they get from England Athletics by the various social media channels that we have as well. So, what are the selection processes from here? So, split across 4 stages. First stage is athletes who have met consideration standards can apply to be considered for the England Athletics performance program or talent development program. All of this information is on the website. So if you go under Team England on the England Athletics website and then select the relevant program, you can find a selection policy there that has all of the consideration standards as well. It also has the link to be able to apply. The deadline for applications is 9 a.m. on September 14th, 2026. We do not accept any late applications because we'll start working as a team to start to look at all of those applications that we have to get together to be able to do the selection of the programs. Now, this is really important for any athletes who are already on an England Athletics program for 25 to 26, whether that be YTP, talent development, or performance programs. You must reapply every single year. If you don't apply each year, then you will not be reselected. The second stage is the selection panel. So all athletes will be considered who apply as a selection panel, and finally a selection decision will be made by the panel as a whole. That will be considered for the quality of the application, but also obviously the performance standard against that standard that is up on the website as known by the consideration standards as well. Any athlete who has not reached a consideration standard won't be considered unless there are exceptional circumstances in which to do so. For example, an athlete may be on talent development program this year, has suffered injury that has communicated incredibly well with us, and we retain them based on duty of care through that athlete's injury. But predominantly, we would expect athletes to have met the consideration standard in the last athletics year. The third stage would be England Athletics' right to each athlete and for them to confirm agreement of their place on the program and to electronically sign the pathway agreement by the deadline that the email will be given. And the final stage is every athlete will have an induction within the EA Talent Hub or potentially online for some athletes if you're in one of the satellite sites. But you'll still get a TASS induction at your satellite site, your delivery site. So then by the end of that process, in the middle of October, every athlete will know exactly how to access services within their given site as well. What things are we looking at? Really simple. The two big things we are really looking at are performance standard and consistency. So not just the fact that one athlete has had one performance that is massively better than anything else they've achieved, but we are looking at the consistency of athletes' performances across the year, as that gives a really good understanding of their ability to continue to progress. And we're also looking at all factors that the panel believe gives us a good understanding of performance potential and their ability to progress in the future as well. So it's not just about how an athlete has performed on the track, but it is about our understanding of them as individuals and also our understanding of their ability to progress in the future. For athletes who have been on youth talent program, a lot of their behaviors will give us a good understanding about how we feel that athletes will be able to transition from YTP through onto talent development as well. Key bits of eligibility and criteria. Um, I'm not going to read through all of these, and athletes can read through this. This is all in the selection policy as well, so please do refer to that. But every athlete must be eligible to compete for England in the Commonwealth Games. They also must be eligible to compete for Great Britain and Northern Ireland in World Championships or the Olympic Games, Paralympic Games. Um, People do need to be a passport holder, and if you're a para athlete, you must hold a current national or international para athletics classification. All the other bits you can read in your own time. I would say just to say that if you're on a UKA program, so World Class Program Futures or Para Futures, you will not be supported by England Athletics. There won't be two programs of support. If you're not currently in the 25 to 26 UKA program of support, and we select our program before UKA are able to do theirs, we may provisionally select you on an England program. But if you're subsequently selected for support by UKA, then that place would go to a different athlete and you'd be supported by UKA rather than England Athletics. And just to say as well, there's no relay program. So all athletes on England programs are selected only as individual athletes rather than a relay runner. Um, and here are timescales that we're looking at from here. Applications are open now, so you can go onto the England Athletics website, find the appropriate program for you. Make sure you've met the consideration standard. Fill in the application before 9 a.m. on the 14th of September when they close. The program selection meetings will be on the 22nd and 23rd of September. We may select a number of reserves in case athletes either eventually turn down their place on an England Athletics program, or if they are subsequently selected to a UKA program. We will then write to all athletes on the 24th of September. So if you've applied, please look out for that email coming into your inbox. You'll obviously given us your up-to-date and current contact details within the application. And then throughout October and by the end of October, everybody will have filled in all of our TASS medical insurance forms. If you don't fill these in post-selection, then you will have no medical insurance. So you won't be able to claim any scans if you are injured or see a doctor. So it's really important to get those done up front and early. And then by the end of October, we shall have done and completed all of the inductions at all of the delivery sites across England. So that's it. That is the end of the presentation. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and just check the chat to see if anybody has any questions, at which point we will end our evening today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing lots of applications from people. I know we've had 80 applications across the two programs for Talent Development and Performance Program prior to this evening. So I hope that we see a few more after this evening. I will just give it a couple of minutes to see if there are any questions pop into the chat. No, we are not getting any questions, which is great. Very best of luck. I hope athletes all have a brilliant end to this summer season. And I look forward to seeing your applications come in as we get to a time of selections. We have a hand raised, but if the way it works on this is if you'd like to pop a question into the chat rather than raising your hand, would be really helpful for me.